Folks, just when you thought the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry couldn't get any more explosive, the WNBA went and poured a full tank of gasoline on it. Monday, April 6th, 2026. Opening day of WNBA free agency. Most fans were bracing for roster shuffles, contract signings, maybe a surprise or two. What nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming was this. The Chicago Sky trading Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream. Just like that. Gone. Bayou Barbie, out of Chicago, heading south to Atlanta, and the ripple effects of that one move stretch. All the way to Indianapolis, where Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are about to enter what could be the most anticipated WNBA season in the history of the league. Buckle up, because we are breaking this whole thing down. The trade, what it means for Reese, what it means for Clark, and why the rivalry between these two women just reached a brand new level. Let's start at the beginning. Monday morning, word broke through Taylor Rooks at Amazon Prime that the Chicago Sky were moving Angel Reese. The destination, the Atlanta Dream. The return, 2 first-round draft picks, one in 2027 and one in 2028, plus the right to swap second round. Picks in 2028. Now let's just sit with that for a second. On the opening day of free agency, the Chicago Sky traded a 2-time All-Star for 2 future draft picks. That's it. That's what they got for one of the most marketable players in the sport. People were stunned. Fans were refreshing their phones. Reporters were scrambling. The reactions online were absolutely off the charts. And here's the part that makes this even more interesting. According to ESPN's Alexa Philippou, Angel Reese did not request this trade. She did not demand out. The Sky front office worked closely with her team to find her a new home. So this wasn't a dramatic blow-up. This wasn't Angel storming out. The Chicago Sky, a franchise that has been spinning its wheels since its surprising 2021 championship, decided to move on from one of the brightest young stars in the game. CBS Sports graded it an F for the Sky front office. But for Angel Reese, for the Atlanta Dream, and most importantly for this rivalry with Caitlin Clark, this trade is absolutely electric. Now, if you're newer to women's basketball, let me give you the quick version of who Angel Reese is, because she is not just a basketball player, she is a phenomenon. In her first 2 WNBA seasons, she averaged 14.7 points and 12.6 rebounds per game. She is a force inside the paint, a double-double machine, a rebounder who plays with a chip on her shoulder every single night. She holds the record for the longest double-double streak in WNBA history, 15 consecutive games, a feat she accomplished in her rookie season. To put that in perspective, that wasn't just impressive for a rookie, that was historic for anyone in the league at any point in time. And off the court, while Caitlin Clark earned around $16 million last season from endorsements alone, Reese has broken down barriers, walked runways for Victoria's Secret, and leads the entire league with 5.2 million followers on social media. She reaches demographics that mainstream sports media sometimes overlooks. She bridges basketball with culture, with fashion, with a whole generation of young women who see themselves in her. So when people ask why this trade is such a big deal, beyond just X's and O's, that is your answer right there. Now, how did Angel respond to all of this? Because after a trade like this, the whole world is watching. How you handle it says everything. She posted a video clip and said, "Atlanta, Dream, what's up? I really dreamed of this moment. I'm just loving in my Barbie dream house." That's Angel Reese. No tears, no bitterness, no drama. She flipped the narrative immediately. "An angel's dream," she posted. ATL, what up? The girl was not sulking. She was celebrating, and she gave Chicago its proper flowers too, saying to the city of Chicago, "You showed me real love from day one, thank you, always Chi-Town Barbie." Class. That is straight up class. She honored what was, and then pivoted to what's next with full energy. And what's next is a whole lot better than what she was dealing with before, because she isn't just going somewhere. She is going somewhere good. In Atlanta, Reese will be surrounded by the kind of electric shooting and playmaking that will perfectly complement her game. Her primary co-stars are expected to be Alicia Gray, who finished 4th in MVP voting last season, and Rhyne Howard, a 3-time WNBA All-Star, who earned all defensive second-team honors in 2025. That is a real supporting cast. That is a team built to win. Last season, the Dream hired coach Carl Smesko, and it turned out to be a brilliant move. The team went 30 wins and 14 losses and earned the number 3 seed in the playoffs. 30 wins in the regular season. That is not a rebuilding project. That is a contender. Compare that to what Reese was dealing with in Chicago, a franchise that has cycled through 4 head coaches in 4 years with roster decisions that left analysts shaking their heads. She had publicly warned the organization she was not going to accept the same mediocrity heading into another season. She got her wish. She just didn't know it would come in the form of a trade she never asked for. Now let's flip to the other side of this story. Because while all of this was happening with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark was quietly preparing what could be the most important season of her young career. Her second WNBA season was a nightmare from a health standpoint. She suffered a quad strain, then groin injuries on multiple occasions, then an ankle bone bruise that set her entire recovery back. She appeared in just 13 games before the Fever shut her down for the year. 13 games. For the biggest draw in women's basketball, for the player who was supposed to lead Indiana deep into the playoffs. Clark herself described it as nagging. Injuries that continued to build up, one on top of the other, saying it played with her mind even more than knowing she would be out for a set amount of time. It was a genuinely heartbreaking situation for her and for fans of the game, but here is where the story turns around completely. After a grueling 8-month absence from competitive basketball, Caitlin Clark came back, and she came back strong. She made her senior national team debut for Team USA at the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico. She averaged 11.8 points and 6.4 assists per game on nearly 53% shooting, led Team USA to a perfect 5-0 record, and was named the tournament MVP. Let that sink in. 8 months off, and she came back and won MVP of an international tournament. In a recent interview, Clark said she finally feels like herself. Again, she said, and I quote, "More than anything, I really did feel like myself. I feel really healthy. A lot of people put in a lot of time to get back there. I miss playing in front of fans in every city." That last line says everything about her mindset heading into 2026. She is hungry, she is healthy, and she is coming. The Indiana Fever open their season on May 9th against Paige Buchers and the Dallas Wings. Circle it on your calendar. Women's basketball is officially back in business. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know. What does Angel Reese going to Atlanta mean for this rivalry with Caitlin Clark? The short answer, everything. When Chicago beat Indiana 88-87 back in June 2024, that game drew over 2 million viewers on television. The following season, when Clark and the Fever opened against the Sky on May 17th, that game averaged 2.7 million viewers and peaked at 3.1 million, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. Think about that. A regular season women's basketball game. 3.1 million viewers. That is not a fluke, that is a cultural phenomenon. And it has everything to do with these two players and the electricity they generate every time they share the same floor. Here is something important, though. Despite what the internet tries to make you believe, these two are not enemies. Reese told the Today Show directly, "I don't believe in her heart that she has hatred towards me, and I'm sure she believes that I don't have hatred towards her." Clark echoed that to Time magazine. While they aren't close friends, there is mutual respect between them. Mutual respect. Not enemies, not best friends. Two elite competitors who understand what they mean to each other's careers and to the growth of this sport. That is the real story. Two women who come from completely different backgrounds, with completely different playing styles, who together have done something that nobody else in women's sports has managed to do. They made the whole country pay attention. And now here is the twist that WNBA analyst Rachel DeMita pointed out on her podcast. A lot of Indiana Fever fans noticed that the Fever are scheduled to play the Atlanta Dream 4 times this season, more than they play any other team. DeMita literally asked on air, Did the league office know Angel was going to Atlanta when they made that schedule? Whether it was planned or not, the result is the same. 4 guaranteed Clark versus Reese matchups before the playoffs even begin. The schedule gods are absolutely smiling this season. The internet, as you can imagine, was fired up immediately after the trade broke. Some fans tried to downplay it, claiming the move has no effect on Clark and the Fever. Others fired back hard, pointing out that both teams play in the same conference, that Atlanta went 30-14 last year and led the Eastern Conference, and that you cannot just ignore your top conference rival. One fan online summed it up perfectly.